In recent years, the development of the film and television industries on an international level has led national markets to be increasingly confronted with the passage of cultural and linguistic differences between the country where the work is produced and where it is subsequently distributed. Since film and television are media that enjoy greater popularity among the population, the number of products that need to be adapted to a different linguistic and cultural realities is constantly growing. This has led to the development of audiovisual translation, which is now considered one of the most dynamic areas of translation. Audiovisual translation has different types of language transfer and adaptation, ranging from dubbing to audiovisual description for the blind, through which unchanged images and sounds of a product are provided by dialogues in a different language than the original. Audiovisual translation deals with the translation of scripts for videos, which pass into the hands of prominent voice actors. Audiovisual translation goes hand in hand with dubbing, thus with film, television, documentaries, and series. Audiovisual language services are also important for the theater, as in the case of translations of international musicals. It is also present in television news, in some interviews, and in cartoons. In short, even if you cannot see, this type of translation is always present. One of the big challenges in audiovisual translation is the rendering of informal dialogues. These have big these have difficult elements such as puns, colloquial expression, and humor, which require a lot of creativity and ingenuity for an effective rendering. Nicknames and jokes may continue to develop season after season, and in order to translate them correctly, language experts must constantly keep abreast of the necessary cultural background. This field of translation is still considered to be a complex research, both because of the difficulties in placing audiovisual translation within translation theory, as the audiovisual text represents a textual typology in itself, and because of the methodological complexity, the scarcity of publications, and the difficulties involved in this type of translation. Whoever carries out an audiovisual translation does not perform a simple linguistic translation, but a real cultural translation that requires specific training. Subtitling, for example, is indeed a way of adapting an audiovisual product that more closely preserves the intentions of the original version. First of all, because it does not need to adapt to the lip synchronization, so that compared to dubbing, the length of dialogue can vary freely. Subtitles, moreover, are not limited to being a summary of the work, but on the contrary, contain all the details of the search script and often offer the foreign viewer the possibility of clarifying obscure points without producing lexical losses or censorship, as in the case with dubbing. The challenge of today's translator, therefore, is to try to ensure translations in line with what the scriptwriters actually wanted and to try to adapt the dialogues without discrediting their artistic value. From this whole series of analysis, it is clear that the audiovisual translator has to overcome several obstacles in order to achieve a satisfactory translation. The translation difficulties enclosed in the audiovisual product concern, first of all, the transmission of information through the visual channel at the same time the sound channel and the differences between the search culture and the target culture. This is why the subtitler is required to employ all his or her creativity so as to convey the search message correctly and without misunderstanding. Translations must offer creative and faithful solutions with respect to the original dialogues and leave the cultural references unchanged in order to make the viewer participate in the other reality that today is represented.